Those of us drawn in by the allure of information, entertainment, a virtual escape, allot hours of our time to a place we can't physically occupy, the internet.
Physically, it only exists within the confines of your computer, tablet, or phone, but in and of itself, the digital world is a boundless virtual maze. The surface web sprawls in front of us like a foreign metropolis cityscape, while the deep and dark web lies beneath like a labyrinth of underground tunnels run by those who wish to remain in shadow. Many of us recognize the scope of its entirety as vast, and its darkest corners are as mysterious as the deepest, unexplored depths of the ocean. And one of the most intriguing mysteries, still half submerged in that darkness, is that of an organization known only as Cicada 3301.
Washington Post listed it as one of the top 5 eeriest and unsolved mysteries of the internet age. But who exactly is Cicada 3301 and what do they want? Well, the answers may be hidden in riddles or in a book known as the Liber Primus. But what we can conclude is that Cicada 3301, whoever they are very good at hiding their secrets.
January 5th, 2012. 4chan and Reddit users browsed through pages and pages of posts
when an intriguing image posted by an anonymous user popped up in several forums. An image with a message.
Hello. We're looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, we have devised a test. There is a hidden message in this image. Find it, and it will lead you on the road to finding us. We look forward to meeting the few that will make it all the way through. Good luck, 3301.
Thinking an amateur cyber hacker was out for a bit of fun, many scoffed at the message and clicked away. But the curious were rewarded. Changing the exposure of the initial image revealed an outline of a cicada, which held the clue to the next puzzle. However, the first riddle was merely a taste of the complex enigma that lay ahead on the hunt for Cicada 3301. With each new test, the scope of knowledge required to solve each riddle expanded, blossoming into territories far beyond mere computer skills. The Wikipedia page for Cicada 3301 shows a comprehensive list of the different types of clues referenced within the various puzzles. The first column concerns literary and artistic references, and at the top is Agrippa, a Book of the Dead, a poem that muses on the nature of memory. Written by William Gibson, Agrippa attracted attention in 1992 for being published on a floppy disk, programmed to encrypt itself after being read only once, allowing the user no further access. The references that follow include the Ancient of Days, a design by William Blake, the Anglo-Saxon alphabet, Bach, the musician, cuneiform, the Book of Ecclesiastes, the painting The Lady of Shalott, and Mayan numerology, all the way down to the works of Aleister Crowley, the occultist who developed the religion of Thelema, which emphasized individualism and followed the central idea of, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will." Glancing at the philosophical references, one would need to be familiar with the ideas of collective consciousness, or a set of shared beliefs that operate as a unifying force within society. Ego death, which has to do with the loss of self-identity, the philosophers Carl Jung, Friedrich Nietzsche, Grigory Rasputin, and all the way to Zen Buddhism. So again, we're looking at a broad range of philosophical beliefs. The cryptographic category includes more modern knowledge, such as the Linux operating system and the Onion router, better known as Tor, which is the software that enables access to the deep web. But we also have topics from older times, from Caesar cipher to number theory. There's also a heavy emphasis on prime numbers, which are numbers that can be divided without a remainder only by the value of 1 and itself. For instance, 3 can only be divided by 3 or 1 in order to achieve an answer without a remainder.
Despite the diversity of the puzzle references, there are common threads in the ways the riddles are solved. Many of the puzzles require the solver to be familiar with data security, stenography, and cryptography, which is defined as the practice and study of hiding information. basically a complex code designed to keep information secret and safe. And since cracking the mystery revolves mainly around cryptography, solvers felt Cicada was far more than the work of a bored internet genius. And what followed forced solvers to accept that Cicada had the resources and coordination of a tangible, global organization.
One of the final clues instructed solvers to call a phone number that traced back to Texas. Potentials were then given another clue about prime numbers in the first image, which eventually led to a website with a countdown. That countdown hit 0 at 5 p.m. GMT on January 9th, and after, a map was revealed, pinpointing 14 different GPS locations around the world in Warsaw, Paris, Seattle, Seoul, New Orleans, Miami, Sydney, along with cities in Arizona, California, and Hawaii, among others. Solvers ventured out from the confines of the virtual world and were met with posters showing the Cicada emblem and a QR code. When scanned, it led to a Tor address that was programmed to close after a set number of solvers had arrived at their final destination. Once that number was fulfilled, a message, assumedly from Cicada, appeared.
We want the best, not followers.
Potentials had not only been locked in a complex cipher maze, but also, unbeknownst to them, a race against their fellow solvers. Lines of communication with the winner's circle went silent.
Cicada 3301 proved it was a complex, intelligent, diverse, and well-connected group of individuals, and not the work of a single hacker. But now with the internet's curiosity piqued, people questioned, who is Cicada? And more importantly, what do they want with these highly intelligent individuals who reached the final riddle in time?
Those who trudge through the depths of the internet have seen complex internet puzzles before. One of the oldest, known as the Markovian parallax denigrate, first appeared back in 1996 and still remains conclusively unsolved.
From Cicada's puzzles, a community formed from those who felt the limitations of their individual knowledge, and ideas were exchanged in forums to help fellow solvers progress.
But what is it about Cicada 3301 that continues to draw in the curious potentials? A relief from boredom, a desire to conquer something, the desire to be a part of something bigger, maybe. Or maybe it's simpler than that. The mystery plays to our human curiosity, and where there is a question that intrigues us, there is a burning desire to know the answer, whether we think we will like that answer or not.
We may never know if that curiosity was satisfied in the end due to the radio silence from the winners. However, potentials who were moments away from being chosen have shared their speculations on Cicada. One in particular is a 34-year-old cryptographer and computer analyst out of Sweden named Joel Eriksson, who arrived at the last page moments too late.
Eriksson is heavily involved in the cryptography community and says based on all we know of Cicada, they are more than likely a large cyber organization in the same realm as Anonymous, and the puzzles are a recruiting tool to find new members. He also noted that all of the GPS coordinates for the QR codes were in locations where many of the world's top hackers and IT security researchers reside. He said, "It really only takes one dedicated person to plan it all, but if I had to guess, I would say it's probably 3 to 5, with one of them being the main driving force."
But again, what is beyond that finish line, and what becomes of the chosen? Allegedly, those who reached the Tor address first were contacted via email and were sent what many have called as a personality test of sorts, to see if the chosen fall in line with the same foundational beliefs of the organization itself. The test included the following questions, among many others.
There is no truth. True, false, indeterminate, meaningless, self-referential, game rule, strange loop, none of the above. What you are is more important than what you do. True, false. The mathematical operation known as addition is modeled after what? Explain in your own words. What mathematical principle is relied upon for the security of Shamir's secret sharing scheme? What does the word "it" refer to in the following sentence? It is dark outside.
The chosen who passed this assessment were absorbed into the organization, but beyond that, nothing is known about the mission, the group, or what it all means, or if it means anything at all. Cicada 3301 is recruiting, but for what purpose? What happens behind the curtain? And is it legal, harmless, or does it have more sinister and violent roots?
Cicada 3301's puzzles are not unsolvable. The mystery lies not in the riddles, but in the man behind the curtain. The orchestration of the chase and its purpose is what intrigues many internet goers. Nothing in the name Cicada 3301 tells us what they stand for as an organization or why they're looking for new members, and Erickson believes this is intentional. During recruiting, guarding the secrets of the group, as well as the members within it, is a top priority, as it keeps things anonymous and under wraps. Which explains partially why those who are chosen at the end vanish from the virtual world. It seems whatever Cicada 3301 is up to, it has enough incentive to convince its newest members to keep silent. Through what methods, though? Blackmail? Bribery? Or just emphasizing that confidentiality is essential to Cicada's mission, whatever that may be. We often associate secret organizations with illicit, illegal activities. However, Cicada 3301 has stated their work does not break the law. So what is it they're hiding? Some of the theories behind Cicada's motive and identity suggest they are a branch of Freemasons, Illuminati, or the hacker group Anonymous, while others insist it is a bank running on cryptocurrency, something akin to Bitcoin, or an alternate reality game to promote a new software or game, etc.
Though no one seems to have made a profit off of Cicada in the 4 years of its known existence, they're obviously willing to spend the money, as they've paid for server time, bought phone numbers, and obviously have the means to keep their secrets safe, even with new recruits, which leads us to our first theory.
Some believe Cicada is a code name used by a military body or branch of government, such as the CIA, NSA, FBI, or the British equivalent MI6. It may seem far-fetched that a top government agency would turn to the internet to find the best and brightest, but according to Dr. Jim Gilligley, who was the former president of the American Cryptogram Association, it's a tried and tested tactic of recruitment dating all the way back to World War II. In 2010, the Air Force Cyber Command hid a complex hexadecimal code within their site logo and challenged cryptographers to crack the code, which they did within 3 hours. British GCHQ has used similar tactics. However, Dr. Gilligley pointed out that just because Cicada takes great precautions with security doesn't mean they're government-related, since cybersecurity affects nearly everyone with an online presence in the present day and age, which Erickson agrees with. He believes Cicada seems more anti-establishment and ideologically driven. He says, they seem to share a lot of ideology with the crypto-anarchy movement and old-school hackers. Then there are outside observers who post their theories on various forums. Internet goers have suggested everything from a mercenary hacker group working for billionaires and governments to Cicada being an artificial intelligence that has outsmarted its creators. Other speculations deal with simulated reality theory, the idea that existence as we know it is a simulation run by a supercomputer. In this scenario, Cicada 3301 is the organization behind our simulated reality, and the recruitment is to measure our reaction to finding out we are merely data on a computer. Another poster suggested that Cicada is attempting to plant a change in the human species, to connect individual consciousness into a single, globally connected consciousness for the advancement and betterment of our future on this Earth.
For me, personally, some of these theories sound a bit far-fetched, but whether or not I believe in them, they are intriguing and provoke discussion on the nature of our world and humanity that we may not have otherwise been inclined to explore. It causes you to kind of pause and consider the possibilities, even if they don't fit into your belief system. And for that, I am willing to admit ignorance as a human and say they're absolutely plausible.
Theories aside, we have been able to learn more about Cicada through a leaked email allegedly from the organization. According to The Guardian, a winner from the 2012 puzzle received the following email after reaching the final site.
You have all wondered who we are, and so we shall now tell you. We are an international group. We have no name. We have no symbol. We have no membership rosters. We do not have a public website, and we do not advertise ourselves. We are a group of individuals who have proven ourselves, much like you have, by completing this recruitment contest. and we are drawn together by common beliefs. A careful reading of the texts used in the contest would have revealed some of these beliefs: that tyranny and oppression of any kind must end, that censorship is wrong, and that privacy is an inalienable right. You are undoubtedly wondering what it is that we do. We are much like a think tank, and that our primary focus is on researching and developing techniques to aid the ideas we advocate. Liberty, privacy, security. You have undoubtedly heard of a few of our past projects, and if you choose to accept membership, we are happy to have you on board to help with future projects. Please reply to this email with the answers to the next few questions to continue. Do you believe that every human being has a right to privacy and anonymity, and is within their rights to use tools which help obtain and maintain privacy, cache, strong encryption, anonymity, software, etc.? Do you believe that information should be free? Do you believe that censorship harms humanity? We look forward to hearing from you. 3301.
While the winner had to maintain anonymity, others claimed the contents of the email were genuine. In addition to the leaked email, Marcus Warner, who allegedly was one of the chosen in the 2012 puzzle, told Business Insider Cicada was recruiting for a collaborative project known as CAKES, which stands for Cicada Anonymous Key Escrow System. The project's purpose was to protect whistleblowers, the people who report on a person or organization that is involved in illicit activity, but CAKES fell apart after the winners lost interest due to the work.
So according to Cicada themselves, they are an anonymous group with no real name, symbol, or member roster, and they're looking for highly intelligent individuals who believe in the right to total privacy and that censorship and oppression must end. At the end of the 2012 puzzle, Cicada went dark, but they didn't fade away. Over the next year, the organization worked in the background, devising new challenges and awaiting the right moment to come back into the light again.
A year later, in January of 2013, Cicada came forward again with another message.
Hello again. Our search for intelligent individuals now continues. The first clue is hidden within this image. Find it, and it will lead you on the road to finding us. We look forward to meeting the few that will make it all the way through. Good luck. 3301.
So the chase began again, and another group of potentials followed a virtual journey from a Twitter account posting strange series of numbers all the way to the end, when the chosen were faced with another Myers-Briggs type personality test. However, Cicada allegedly went dark and never gave the new chosen group any instruction, so the 2013 puzzle concluded with disappointment, both from winners and potentials.
Another year passed, and those who waited anxiously were rewarded. The Twitter account used in the year previously sent out a message.
Hello. Epiphany is upon you. Your pilgrimage has begun. Enlightenment awaits. Good luck. 3301.
At the end of this challenge, potentials were instructed to create their own individual servers so that 3301 could send them a file, but for many that file never came. For others, they received a mass email with no follow-up, similar to 2013. But other winners were sent to a deep web address that contained a coded language called the Gematria Primus and a book known as the Liber Primus, a book that allegedly reveals much about the ideology of Cicada 3301.
So for the next year, everyone worked to decipher the coded Liber Primus, but by the time January 2015 rolled around, the book hadn't fully been decoded, and Cicada remained silent and there was no new recruitments. However, they did speak up in 2015 when a group calling themselves 3301 attacked a Planned Parenthood, and questions were raised about whether or not Cicada was involved. They released this statement.
Some news organizations have recently claimed that 3301 is tied to the illegal activities of a group that has claimed responsibility for attacks against Planned Parenthood. We do not engage in illegal activities. We are not associated with this group in any way, nor do we condone their use of our name, number, or symbolism. 3301.
Radio silence followed, causing many to speculate that Cicada had disbanded altogether, or that they'd fulfilled their recruitment needs for the time being. But those who hoped for another chance were not disappointed when another message appeared in January of 2016.
Hello. The path lies empty. Epiphany seeks the devoted. Liber Primus is the way. Its words are the map. Their meaning is the road, and their numbers are the direction. Seek, and you will be found. Good luck. 3301. Beware false paths. Verify OPEN PGP 7A35090F.
Instead of a labyrinth of riddles, Cicada directs us again to the mysterious Liber Primus, the full meaning of which continues to elude cryptographers working to decipher it. So it seems Liber Primus is the key. But what exactly is this book?
According to cicada3301.org, which has no direct association with the organization, as they've mentioned before, they do not have an official public website, the Liber Primus is the sacred book of Cicadianism. It holds within its pages everything from instructions, lessons, and wisdom to koans, riddles which are used in Zen Buddhism to, quote, demonstrate the inadequacy of logical reasoning and to provoke enlightenment. Looking at the name of the book itself, we can gather a few things. Liber, in and of itself, has different meanings. One is book, and another is a free person, or free, open, unrestricted, undisturbed, depending on its pronunciation. I could, however, see the meaning as being double, considering its second part, primus, means first. The first book, the first free person, first freedom from oppression, ideas that Cicada seems heavily invested in.
In addition to the language referred to as Gematria Primus, the book also contains several strange and mysterious symbols thought to be a part of the code itself. So far, only a portion of the Liber Primus has been deciphered, but it has revealed much about the ideology Cicada 3301 seems to conduct itself by.
Chapter 1. Intus. A warning. Believe nothing from this book, except what you know to be true. Test the knowledge. Find your truth. Experience your death. Do not edit or change this book, or the message contained within, either the words or their numbers, for all is sacred. Some wisdom. The primes are sacred. The Toshan function is sacred. All things should be encrypted. Know this. Welcome. Welcome, pilgrim, to the great journey toward the end of all things. It is not an easy trip, but for those who find their way here, it is a necessary one. Along the way, you will find an end to all struggle and suffering, your innocence, your illusions, your certainty, and your reality. Ultimately, you will discover an end to self. It is through this pilgrimage that we shape ourselves and our realities. Journey deep within, and you will arrive outside. Like the instar, it is only through going within that we may emerge. Wisdom. You are a being unto yourself. You are a law unto yourself. Each intelligence is holy, for all that lives is holy. An instruction. Command your own self. A koan. A man decided to go and study with the master. He went to the door of the master. "Who are you who wishes to study here?" asked the master. The student told the master his name. "That is not what you are, that is only what you are called." "Who are you who wishes to study here?" he asked again. The man thought for a moment and replied, "I am a professor." "That is what you do, not what you are," replied the master. "Who are you who wishes to study here?" Confused, the man thought some more. Finally, he answered, "I am a human being." "That is only your species, not who you are." "Who are you who wishes to study here?" asked the master again. After a moment of thought, the professor replied, "I am a consciousness inhabiting an arbitrary body." That is merely what you are, not who you are. Who are you who wishes to study here? The man was getting irritated. I am, he started, but he could not think of anything else to say, so he trailed off. After a long pause, the master replied, Then you are welcome to come study. An instruction: do 4 unreasonable things each day. The loss of divinity. The circumference practices 3 behaviors which cause the loss of divinity. Consumption. We consume too much because we believe the following 2 errors within the deception. We do not have enough, or there is not enough. We have what we have now by luck, and we will not be strong enough later to obtain what we need. Most things are not worth consuming. Preservation. We preserve things because we believe we are weak. If we lose them, we will not be strong enough to gain them again. This is the deception. Most things are not worth preserving. Adherence. We follow dogma so that we can belong and be right. Or we follow reason so we can belong and be right. There is nothing to be right about. To belong is death. It is the behaviors of consumption, preservation, and adherence that have us lose our primality and thus our divinity. Some wisdom. Amass great wealth. Never become attached to what you own. Be prepared to destroy all that you own. An instruction. Program your mind. Program reality. A koan. During a lesson, the master explained that the I is the voice of the circumference, he said. When asked by a student to explain what that meant, the master said, It is a voice inside your head. I don't have a voice in my head, thought the student, and he raised his hand to tell the master. The master stopped the student and said, The voice that just said you have no voice in your head is the I. And the students were enlightened. An instruction. Question all things. Discover truth inside yourself. Follow your truth. Impose nothing on others. Know this. An end. Within the deep web there exists a page that hashes to. It is the duty of every pilgrim to seek out this page. Parable. Like the instar tunneling to the surface, we must shed our own circumferences, find the divinity within, and emerge.
The Liber Primus itself is nearly 60 pages long, and a majority of it has yet to be deciphered. Those who have followed Cicada claim it isn't due to a lack of skill, however. Frustrations arose when many of the solvers felt Cicada created the Liber Primus with too many ways to hide data, leaving it far too open-ended to be reasonably decoded.
While we do not have the full text of the Liber Primus, we can learn from what has been solved, which brings us to the final theory concerning Cicada 3301, that the organization is more along the lines of what some would call a cult, or perhaps a school of thought might be a better suited term.
Aside from the Liber Primus, there are other indications that this is a possibility, and while it's never been confirmed true or false, an alleged ex-member of Cicada and non-English military officer claimed a superior inducted him into the organization.
This supposed ex-member said Cicada was a left-hand path religion, disguised as a progressive scientific organization, and that its members were made up of military officers, diplomats, and academics that were dissatisfied with the direction of the world, and that despite Cicada's claims they did not participate in illicit activities, that the group was dangerous and had nefarious methods.
If this is true, it aligns with the school of thought theory, but keep in mind, this person never provided evidence he was an actual ex-member, and it's a possibility it was simply a hoax.
Further delving into the idea, Dr. Tim Daly, a senior research fellow with the Family Research Council, analyzed the beliefs outlined in the Liber Primus and Cicada 3301's puzzle references, and said the following. Cicada 3301 appears to be drawing participants inexorably into the dark web of the occult, a la Blavatsky and Crowley. At the heart of the enchantment is the counterfeit promise of ultimate meaning through self-divination. And here he condenses the core beliefs outlined in the Liber Primus into several points. No inherent meaning in anything, all is empty and meaningless. Within each person is an ideal state. Existence of an emerging, godlike global brain made up of all living things and technology, as described by cyberneticist Francis Heiligen. No need for salvation, there is nothing from which to be saved. No real reality, what we perceive as reality may be simulation. Use of the term intelligence rather than person throughout indicates belief, or at least concern for, sentient artificial intelligence. Many writings and beliefs focus on ego death, also known as a complete loss of subjective identity. The website cicada3301.org claims these are the beliefs they align with as Cicadians, as people who choose to give up the superficial and unfulfilling world around them to follow the path of the cicada and emerge into enlightenment through a global consciousness, a state they believe reflects the true nature of self, replacing individual identity with communal thought.
So we've used words like cult or school of thought, but they call themselves a techno-mystical order and say it's a blend of spirituality, technology, science, and mysticism. But again, this is an interpretation of an ideology, and the site itself acknowledges that they did not create the philosophy, but that it came from the elusive Cicada 3301.
As we near January 2017, there will be many out there, maybe including some of you, who eagerly await to see if another puzzle appears.
Or another clue that may push the deciphering of the Liber Primus further along. Maybe then we will finally know what Cicada 3301 really is. But ask yourself, do you really want to know?
Maybe, at first, I did want to know. But with all of this talk about the right to virtual privacy in our world, I had to second-guess my original intent. Virtual privacy and security is just as important in the age of technology and information as real-life confidentiality, almost more so with the rise of social media, online banking, and business practices. In addition to privacy, the internet is a valuable tool for exploring our inner skepticism and connecting with other humans that transcends borders and time zones. Our knowledge expands, and our understanding as one another as humans expands, but at the same time, so does our ignorance. So I think leaving a little mystery is a good thing for the curious mind. Enigmas like Cicada 3301 really prompt discussion, and though my curiosity may never be satisfied, that means there is always something to question, and my intrigue stays alive. And if Cicada 3301 really isn't involved in illicit or illegal activity and wants to remain anonymous for the time being, don't we all have the right to privacy?
Either way, as we enter into the new year, it will be interesting to see if another challenge is put forth, or if Cicada will reveal more about its inner workings. But until that day, when all is revealed, Cicada 3301 will remain one of the most fascinating internet mysteries ever.
Thank you all for watching the video, and if you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below. Also, special thanks to Let's Read, who voiced the ominous Cicada 3301 for this video and gave it a life of its own. Be sure to check him out by clicking below. Stay safe, friends, and have a good night.